On the news, President Tinubu slashes travel delegation for federal government trips abroad. Court declares Anya will PDP's national secretary. And federal government closes a section of Third Mainland Bridge for repairs. Glad to have you join us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkolie. President Bola Tinubu has approved significant cost-cutting measures involving a 60% reduction in official entourage for both local and international travels. Ajorin Gulale, the special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, disclosed this during a briefing with State House correspondent at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Tuesday. For international trips, President Tinubu has directed that not more than 20 individuals accompany him, with the limit further reduced to 5 for the First Lady. Similarly, the Vice President's entourage on international trips is limited to 5, and the same restriction applies to the wife of the Vice President. Regarding domestic travels, the President has set a limit of 25 staff members accompanying him within the country. The office of the First Lady and the wife of the Vice President is also restricted to 10 staff members on official trips within Nigeria. The Vice President is allowed a maximum of 15 staff members on domestic trips.
The official trips that will be undertaken within the country, that is when Mr. President or the Vice President travels to any state within the country, the massive bills that accrued due to allowances and ESTA code for security detail coming from Abuja going and traveling into those states will be massively cut due to the directive of the President that the security outfits within states, whether it be police, DSS, or branches of the military, will frontline his protective detail when he travels to those states, a major cost-cutting initiative. That will affect the office of the Vice President as well as the office of the First Lady. Additionally, when any international travel is being approved, the following limits have been placed on all ministers of the Federation. 4 members of their staff, appointees and the like, will be allowed to travel with a minister on an official trip. For heads of agency, that will be limited to 2 members of staff allowed to travel on an official trip. Furthermore, the numbers that the President has now approved for official travel with him that will apply to his principal staff are as follows. On international trips, the President has directed that no more than 20 individuals be allowed to travel with him. That number will be cut down to 5 in the case of the First Lady. 20 for the President, 5 for the First Lady. Additionally, the number in the entourage on official international trips for the Vice President will be cut to 5. In terms of local trips, the President has approved a new limit of 25 members of staff to accompany him on domestic trips within the country. The office of the First Lady is now limited to 10 staff members to accompany her on official trips within the country. The Vice President will be limited to 15 members of staff on official trips within the country, while his wife will be limited to 10 members of staff on official trips within the country, the same as the First Lady.
Joining me to discuss this further is Iniobong Osen, Ed Research and Policy Advisory. Thank you for joining me, Iniobong. Now, the President just made an announcement of some cost-cutting measures for both local and international travels for the executive arm of government. What do you think about this?
I mean, it makes a lot of... Yeah, thanks for having me. Good evening. It makes a lot of sense because we have been at this for the longest. If you look at what happened when the president came in with the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of the, the different windows for the exchange rate, that, had an effect on inflation, made people poorer. The president had come out to say that people would need to adjust to the times. But if you look at the political events that ensued after, the implementation of those very key reforms, it wasn't in tandem with, what the government had expected that should be the new order of the day from citizens. So so we're delighted that it would seem like this government is beginning to listen to the yearnings of Nigerians as it regards the need to cost the cost of governance, so that we can create fiscal space for these saved sums to be redirected to programs that have more impact on the lives of the everyday Nigerian. If you look at the 2024 budget proposal, I just quickly looked at what we had budgeted for international travels for the State House headquarters, the State House operations with regards to the president, and then the State House operations with regards to the vice president. Now, for State House headquarters, the 2024 proposed budget has an allocation of about 6.3 billion naira for international travels. The State House operations for the president has an allocation of approximately 7 billion, while that for the vice president has an allocation of about 1.2 billion. So cumulatively, you are looking at almost 15 billion naira just for international travels in the 2024 budget year. And so if there's going to be a 60% slash in that, you would expect that we'll be saving, in excess of 7 to 8 billion that can now be redirected to, other very critical programs of the federal government. So we received this, delighted, and we hope that the federal government will be able to, religiously implement this directive across, the entire instrument of state. That's looking at the ministries, departments, and agencies of government, and also the government-owned enterprises, as the case may be.
Are we likely to see other arms of government doing this?
I mean, it's a presidential directive. And I mean, with the way the president has dealt with erring public office holders, I want to believe that, a lot of them will be at the edge of their seat now and would, think twice, to go against presidential directives at the moment. So I think the polity is, good, right, for these sort of directives. And we expect that MDAs would follow suit. There's a monitoring unit which I think is manned by the essay on policy that I think, together with the SGF, would monitor the implementation of this presidential directive. And so what I would expect to see is that at the end of the day, government is able to put up figures to say this is what we're able to save as a result of this directive. And then citizens can begin to see, value for these kinds of directives in real terms.
Lastly, before I let you go, shouldn't state government follow the same directive?
Exactly. You took it right out of my mouth. I think for the effect of this to be able to be felt, the other tiers of government would need to follow suit. We see the sort of exuberance, with regards to public spending, the retinue of escorts, that you see public officers moving around with, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. So we expect that, the state governments would follow suit. Even the local governments would follow suit in this regard, so that we can have savings from this sort of exorbitant activities or action that can now be redirected to critical social, programs that would improve the lives of citizens.
Iniobong Usen, Head Research and Policy Advisory, thank you for speaking with us. Moving on, a federal high court in Abuja has declared Simon Anyanwu as the valid National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). In a judgment delivered by Justice Inyang Ekwo, an order of injunction was issued restraining the national leadership of the PDP from appointing any person as acting National Secretary, while Anyanwu's 4-year tenure is still ongoing and subsisting until December 9, 2025, in accordance with the party's constitution. Justice Ekwo also ruled that any attempt to prematurely remove or prevent Anyanwu from exercising the powers of his office would be in violation of Article 47, subsection 1 of the PDP's constitution as amended in 2017, rendering it null and void. Furthermore, the court restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) from recognizing any purported appointment of any persons as National Secretary of the party other than Anyanwu. And in a press conference held today in Lagos, the Forum of Civil Society (FCS) has categorically rejected the recent suspension of Betta Edu from her role as the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The FSC contended that the allegations against Betta Edu were not only unfounded but also asserted that they were sponsored by distractors of ongoing reforms initiated by President Bola Tinubu's administration. The group in a statement said, according to their thorough investigation, they deemed the allegations baseless and without merit.
After all that has been said and done over the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, I stand on the point that the allegation levied against her, is a total fallacy and that it has been rejected. On this point, standing on this podium, I'm calling on the president of our great country, Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to have a rethink on the suspension over the fraud that is being alleged to Dr. Betta Edu.
Dr. Mrs. Edu that has been suspended is not to be accorded to. Mrs. Edu did not do such thing. So all the allegation leveled against her is fallacy. So I will call on the president of Nigeria to look into it and see that please she should be reinstated into her position as the Minister of Humanitarian and Poverty Alleviation.
Human rights lawyer Enibe Effiong has accused the Inspector General of Police of making an attempt to rearrest Chioma Okoli, who is his client, by violating a court order. In a statement issued on Tuesday, the lawyer-cum-activist alleged the policemen invaded and laid siege on the private residence of Chioma Edoka Okoli, a Songotedo area of Lagos State. Okoli was previously arrested and detained in September 2023 over a review of a tomato product manufactured by Erisco Food Limited. Recall that on the 8th of November 2023, Justice Yelimbo Goro of the Federal High Court, Lagos, made a subsisting order after a fundamental rights suit filed against the IGP and the Nigerian Police Force against arresting, rearresting, or detaining Chioma, except on express order of a court of competent jurisdiction if she is served with a summon or arranged notice and she fails to appear in it. Meanwhile, Chioma's husband, in a video, has said the IGP and the CEO of Erisco Food Limited be held responsible if anything happens to his wife.
As I talk to you, there's a court order. There's a court order from Lagos State High Court against arrest and harassment from the police, and they were duly served. The court processes is ongoing, and we are cooperating with all of them. Tomorrow we have a case in the Federal High Court, Abuja. The case filed by the same police, Nigerian police. And we are prepared to be there. But this early morning, the police decided to come to my house to arrest my wife unlawfully, without any court warrant. No warrant of arrest. My wife is pregnant, like I said earlier, and I want to state here that if anything happens to my wife and my children, and my unborn baby, that Eric Umofia should be held responsible, and the IG of police.
The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Olukorede Kesha, accompanied by the Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiyemi, on Tuesday, the 9th of January, officially closed the Iyano-Shoki to Adeniji-Adeli access of the Third Mainland Bridge for repairs that would take 6 to 8 weeks. Speaking to journalists, Kesha said the closure is part of the ongoing work that started in November 2023, adding that the first phase of the closure would be done on the Lagos Island-bound carriageway of the bridge. Our correspondent Chidi Igwe files the rest in this next report.
The Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos is the longest of 3 road bridges crossing Lagos Lagoon at 11.8 kilometers long. The structure connects the commercial district of Lagos Island to the mainland section of the city. On Tuesday, the Iyano-Shoki Adeniji Lagos Island bound carriage of the Third Mainland Bridge was closed for continuation of repairs, which was suspended on December 14th because of the Yellowtide celebrations. Today, the 9th of January 2024, the Federal Controller for Works, as well as Commissioner for Transportation and other security chiefs, has come to officially close the Adeniji-Adenle-Oroshoki axis of the Third Mainland Bridge for repair. Now, this repair has been stipulated to hold for about 6 to 8 weeks. Now, those that will be working on the island from the mainland has been told that between 12 midnight and 12 p.m., this axis will be made open for them to move. The road closure, according to the Federal Controller of Works Lagos State, is to enable the contractors handling the comprehensive rehabilitation of the bridge to continue work.
You will recall that last year we started the repairs with the ramps. We decided to face it so as to minimize the discomfort or the inconvenience on all of us. So we did the ramps first towards the end of last year, and now we are here to do the big thing, the mega one, which is the main bridge deck, both inbound island and outward island to Iyano-Woro. But we're starting today with the closure of the inbound island. This section where we are now is the intersection of Bagada and Third Mainland Bridge.
She added that the bridge will be open at a particular time for commuters daily.
Motorists will no longer have access here until 12 a.m. in the night. So when we block it now, traffic will be diverted to Bagada. So they can use Bagada, Antoni, and Ikorodu Road, Western Avenue, Kata or Iko Bridge to the island. So by 1 p.m., we will open for the island people to come. 1 p.m. in the afternoon, we open for island people to come. After we might have closed this one by 12. So this one will be a daily affair for the next 4 months. So 8 weeks here, we envisage another 8 weeks there.
Security chiefs in attendance and the Commissioner for Transport Lagos State assured the public of their safety as they appeal for understanding of the public.
We are going to secure the road effectively because we know there will be long stretch of traffic. So our men will be everywhere and we make sure that the exercise is seamless without problems. We only appeal to members of the public to cooperate with our men and to bear with us for this period of diversion.
There's going to be guide for motorists. We want just to enjoin motorists to please be patient and obey every traffic rule and the traffic managers on the road.
Collaboration with police as well. That, of course, guarantees safety as well. So I'm sure we'll be good.
With an average of 117,000 vehicular traffic daily, the Third Mainland Bridge is the busiest road in the country. Chidi Igwe, TV360 News, Lagos.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, son of Niger Republic's deposed president released on bail. Details of the story right after this break. Welcome back. A quick recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has approved significant cost-cutting measures involving a 60% reduction in official entourage for both local and international travels. For international trips, President Tinubu has directed that not more than 20 individuals accompany him, with the limit further reduced to 5 for the First Lady. Similarly, the Vice President's entourage on international trips is limited to 5, and the same restriction applies to the wife of the Vice President. We also told you that a federal high court in Abuja has declared Samuel Anyanwu as the valid National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In a judgment delivered by Justice Inyang Ekwo, an order of injunction was issued, restraining the national leadership of the PDP from appointing any persons as acting National Secretary, while Anyanwu's 4-year tenure is still ongoing and subsisting until December 9, 2025, in accordance with the party's constitution. And in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. It's time for business news. Let's now join Okpeyemi Owosheni for the latest. Over to you, Okpe.
Thank you, Tamilore. In the world of business, entrepreneurship and innovation expert Eline More says it's possible for Nigeria to experience an increase in economic growth in 2024 if the federal government puts in the work to remove all impediments to the growth. Speaking in an exclusive interview with TV360 against the backdrop of the United Nations prediction of slow economic growth for Nigeria in 2024, Emoria says the government must tackle insecurity headlong in order to guarantee freedom of movement, which enables prosperity.
Insecurity should be tackled. And insecurity needs to be tackled because we have limited movement of goods and man. Traveling on our highways is very difficult. So people don't even travel for leisure purposes anymore. So tourism industry is dying very fast. Before, you used to be able to wake up, go to a weekend in Abeokuta, Ibadan, or the nearest town to you that is like a tourist attraction. But now you can't do that. The whole of the northwest, northeast, north central Nigeria are under siege. So people are not traveling by road like they should in those areas. And it is travel and movement that moves wealth and prosperity around. So even the agriculture that everybody talks about, people can't go to their farms. People are scared of going to their farms, or there are places where you hear that people are paying ransom to bandits and terrorists. So insecurity is a major factor. We need to deal with it so that the country can experience a very strong growth in the agricultural sector.
Take a break and be back with Stock Market Report. Trading activities in the Nigerian equities market closed positive today, Tuesday, January 9, 2023, by 3.57% as the all-share index increased to 80,324 naira 53 kobo basis points, indicating a year-to-date return of 7.42%. The market breadth also ended positive as 72 stocks advanced and 13 stocks declined. FBN Holdings topped the gainers list with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 20 naira 60 kobo. For followed closely by Cadbury Nigeria. We closed at 18 naira 15 kobo. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange NGX, a total of 1,409,000,000 volumes of shares were exchanged in 17,144 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 17.24 billion naira. So now for our select global stock, global equities fell after a tech-led bounce as Treasury 10-year yields fluctuated above 4%, leaving the UK FTSE and US Dow Jones in a bearish trade at 0.023% and 0.72%, and leaving Nikkei Japan's on a bullish trade at 1.16%. And that's it on Business and Stock Market Report. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Okwayami. And now on the global scene, Salem Bazoum, the son of the ousted Niger President Mohamed Bazoum, who was overthrown in a coup last year, has been provisionally released according to Niamey's military tribunal. The court document indicated that Salem Bazoum had been granted provisional release after being held with his parents since the presidential guard took over on July 26, 2023. The document also says it is up to him to respond to justice as soon as he is required to do so. While Salem Bazoum has been released, his parents remain in custody at the presidential residence. The 22-year-old has reportedly left Niamey to Togo, where he has arrived on Monday evening, according to sources close to the ousted president. And on sports, Super Eagles coach Joseph Pesiro says the team star forward Kelechi Iheanacho, whose appearance at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations has been doubtful, will now join the team in Cote d'Ivoire after being certified fit by his club Leicester City. Iheanacho has been nursing a muscle injury, which has kept him from featuring in Leicester's game for a while. But the Portuguese gaffer, while speaking after the Super Eagles' last friendly game with Guinea, said the 27-year-old attacker will be part of Super Eagles' campaign in the championship. Our correspondent Sidney Okafor has more details.
It's just a couple of days before the championship starts, and football-loving Nigerians are still not enthusiastic about the chances of the fall title for the Super Eagles. Against the backdrop of the 2-0 loss to the silly nation of Guinea, Nigerians feel that a team with quality of playing personnel that the Eagles have, they should be winning games without stress. A depletion in the personnel has also not helped a team that has lost its steel at the middle of the pack. Wilfred Ndidi and one of its potent attacking force in Victor Boniface, while Hassan Yusuf has been called to replace Ndidi. Terry Murphy has also been named as the replacement for Victor Boniface, pending CAF's approval. Meanwhile, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will host the Super Eagles on Tuesday night, hours before three-time champion depart for Cote d'Ivoire. Sport Development Minister Senator John Owan Eno will be a co-host of the glamour event, to which Governor Duri of Bayelsa State, Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, Sheriff Oborewere, Delta State, Abdullahi Sule, Nasarawa State, and Godwin Obaseki, Edo State, have been invited. Sidney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkolea. See you next time.